talked to other embalmers that have 30, 40, even 50 years of experience. Said, hey, you know, have you guys ever seen this stuff before? And the answer was always,
I haven't seen clots like these. These long, white, fibrous, different, not blood clots, but they're clotting the blood, so therefore you have to call it a clot.
I have been in this profession actually for approximately 12 years and approximately 200 to 250 bodies per year, and I have never seen anything like this until the vaccination.
Now, I've been an embalmer for 41 years. 41 years I've been embalming, and I've never seen clots like these.
here's a guy who messaged me the other day. He even sent me a picture.
And that fellow embalmer?
This is not mine. This is his. Same stuff. You see that?
You know, we know something's going on. I deal with a lot of funeral directors and embalmers. I attend national conventions, state conventions. I'm very involved. And, you know, we know something different is going on. We don't know exactly what's going on, but the timing of it is just hand in hand. We're connecting dots here. And it certainly appears that there's some relationship to the vaccine and these obstructions that we're seeing.
Inexplicable. Look, doctor, look, journal, here is the evidence. Let me show it to you just in case you haven't got it. There it is. There it is. Explain that, because it's new. So senior research Bruce Rapley, one of the doctors, this is not just a big blood clot. This is a fundamentally different architecture. We're dealing with something new here.
Mr. Woody Wilson, the vice president, who owns his own funeral home in Marysville, Ohio, and does his own embalming. A lot of funeral directors do their own embalming. Woody said to me, "Tom, I'm seeing the white fibrous clots too." So I said, wow. Now I have an official officer, the vice president of the Ohio Embalmers Association, and now, by the way, Woody's the president of the Ohio Embalmers Association, saying that he's seeing these clots too. So right there and then I decided I needed to do a nationwide survey, which I then later on turned into a worldwide survey by including Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, to see just how prevalent these white fibrous clots were. The first survey I did back at the end of 2022 had three main conclusions to it. 119 of the 179 embalmers that responded to that survey, exactly 2/3, 67%, said they were seeing the white fibrous clots. And they were seeing them in an average, Greg, of 30% of their corpses. 3 out of every 10 corpses have these white fibrous clots in them. And then the other main consensus of those embalmers in that first survey was that the phenomenon for them did start in the year 2021 after the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines.
The FDA itself is saying the period of concern for these blood clots is 5 to 15 years. Well, they sure didn't tell people that when they were encouraging everybody to go get these shots.
The vaccines unequivocally cause blood clots through the mechanism of producing the Wuhan spike protein. The spike protein, which is now in the bodies of everyone who've taken these vaccines, promotes blood clots, large blood clots. A paper from the FDA by Wu and colleagues from the US FDA, published in the peer-reviewed literature, described thousands of blood clots that they had in a sample going from the ankle to the hip, the largest blood clots we've ever seen, shooting to the lungs. 11% of cases in the Wu paper were fatal. My experience with these blood clots are they're enormously resistant to blood thinners. We're using all different types of blood thinners, adding additional drugs, and they are not going away like characteristic blood clots. Studies show the Wuhan spike protein is inside the blood clots, and it's folding, forming what's called amyloid structures. Amyloid structures are like rubber in the human body. They look like rubber, and the blood clots are large and rubberized, and they are not being dissolved. A very disturbing paper recently published by Lee and colleagues with a sample of millions and millions of patients from 2021. They had unvaccinated and vaccinated. They did careful retinal scans. This is astonishing. They found astronomical rates of blood clots in the retinal arteries and retinal veins in those vaccinated compared to the unvaccinated. And that was only with 2 shots back in 2021. 2 years later, these still exist. They're still there. The risk is there. So what I'm telling you is these vaccines have a very long effect in the human body. And when we see blood clots in the arteries, small arteries and veins of the eyes, they're reflecting what's going on in the body. The blood clots are coming from elsewhere. And so they certainly can be a cause of blindness, but it is a general reflection of blood clotting occurring through the body throughout. This is a very large study, and it's the longest study showing that there is a tail, at least a 2-year tail of risk and concern of anyone who's taken one of these vaccines back in 2021.
I talked to other embalmers that have